The opinions expressed in this video are my own and not those of SMA News Today, its parent company, BioNews, nor any other organization. These videos are intended to spark discussions about issues pertaining to spinal muscular atrophy and are not meant to be professional medical advice. Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of the Morale Monologue. My name is Michael Morale. Okay, so in today's video, I want to talk to you about a medical procedure that I went through about 10 years ago. I had my gallbladder removed, and I want to talk to you about this because it might help you if and when you ever have to have your gallbladder removed as well. And I know some of you are scratching your heads going, well, what does this have to do with SMA? Well, it has a little bit to do with it, but it's mainly with regards to the kind of foods that you can eat and foods that they tell you to stay away from. And I want to tell you what my story was. And I think after hearing what I went through, if you ever have to go through it, it'll make things easier for you. So probably it's been well over 10 years ago. I started having a lot of cramps almost in my kidney area. And it was very similar to the cramps that I used to get when I would get kidney stones. But it got worse, and it kept getting worse each and every hour of this one particular day. And I tried drinking a Coke so I could belch. Sometimes if I belched, it would help, but it didn't. It just got worse. Started getting to the point where I was getting short of breath. So my father took me to the hospital, and when I went through the ER doors, my father went to park, and the lady behind the desk looked at me and she said, "Sweetheart, what's wrong with you?" And I said, "I can't breathe." And I literally was having trouble taking a deep breath. It hurt that bad. Well, in a matter of 45 seconds, they had me out of my wheelchair onto a gurney and in the ER. Matter of fact, when my father came back from parking the car, he couldn't find me. And the nurse had gone back there with me, so it took him about 20 minutes to find out where I was. But they did a CT scan, they did a chest x-ray, and they did blood work and urinalysis to figure out what was wrong. And after about 4 hours, the doctor came back into the room and he said, "Well, we're going to have to admit you because this is your gallbladder. Your gallbladder is severely infected." And he said, "You've probably got some gallstones that are causing you problems." And I never really got a good answer as to what's the difference between a gallstone or a kidney stone. But if it was anything like a kidney stone, I knew this was going to hurt if it got any worse. So they admitted me into the hospital, but they couldn't do surgery for about 4 days because they had to give me an IV with some antibiotics to help the infection in the gallbladder. They couldn't do the surgery because it was infected too much. Well, after about 3 days, maybe going on to the 4th day, the doctors came back in and said, "Look, it's really not getting any better. We're going to go ahead and take you into surgery in about 2 hours." So my father had just left. It was almost lunchtime. My father had just left, so I called him. He was going home to eat lunch and then come back up there. But anyway, he got back up there, and while my father was coming into the room, this surgeon walked into the room and was telling me all the things that could go wrong and right during the surgery. Told me, "This is surgery. You're going to be asleep. You could die, blah, blah, blah." The typical spiel that doctors will give you. And anyway, he left. And then about 5 minutes later, another surgeon came into the room and said, "Actually, Michael, I'm going to be doing your surgery." And his name was Dr. Swanson. And he said the other doctor got reassigned to another procedure, another gallbladder procedure. And I found out the next day that it was a friend of mine that I used to smoke cigars with when I was younger. They had to have their gallbladder removed. So they were in the same hospital as I was. But anyway, this other doctor, Dr. Swanson, came in and told me that he was going to do my surgery. And I said, "Yes, I know I could die." And he said, "No, you're not going to die." He said, "I've done probably 300 or 400 of these, and I've never lost anybody. You're going to be fine. I said, well, the other doctor told me I wasn't going to be able to eat anything creamy anymore because your gallbladder is, it's what handled fats. And he said, no, you're going to be just fine. He said, you'll be able to eat cream sauces, Alfredo sauce, and cheese and everything. You'll be just fine. You just have to do it slowly. You have to slowly let your body readjust and get used to handling these types of foods without having a gallbladder. So he did the surgery, and surgery was fine. It only took about 2 hours. I was back in my room, but in recovery, the doctor had told me, don't sit up for at least a day, because they had to put air in my stomach because they did the surgery laparoscopically, and that's where they go in with the 3 rods in your stomach, and they pump air in your stomach to build it up so they can maneuver the cameras and the cutting tools and everything else. Well, did I listen to Dr. Swanson? No. Did I have the nurses raise the head of my bed? Yes. Well, big mistake, because the air that was in my stomach traveled up to my clavicle, to my left clavicle, the shoulder, and Dr. Swanson came back in the room and he said, thought I told you not to do that. And I said, yeah, well, ask my parents. Anytime they told me not to do something, that's the first thing I did. And he laughed. He goes, well, nothing I can do about it. He said, that's just air that's moved up to your clavicle. And he said, it'll be probably 6 or 8 hours, but it'll eventually go away. So if you have your gallbladder removed, listen to your doctors and do what they tell you to do. So anyway, I've been living a normal life without a gallbladder. I eat what I want to eat. There were times while I was readjusting my body to these foods that it did not like it, but only a few times. And right now I can eat ice cream. I can eat pretty much anything I want to eat without any problems at all. So if you find yourself going into the hospital because of a gallbladder issue, the doctors will always tell you what you can't do. And especially if you have SMA, you know, I know people want to stay away from rich foods. They don't want to get diarrhea or anything like that. But I know 2 or 3 people now that have had their gallbladders taken out that have SMA, and they lead normal lives. So if you have to have your gallbladder taken out, don't worry, there is life after gallbladder removal. All right? So those of us at SMA News Today bring you these videos and hope that our videos help you lead a better life. If you enjoyed this video and you got some good information out of it, give me a thumbs up, and please subscribe to the SMA News Today YouTube channel as well. Also, don't forget, every time you give us a thumbs up or subscribe to our video or leave us a comment, it tells YouTube to change the algorithm, and by changing the algorithm, they'll make our videos available to a wider audience. So help us out by leaving us a comment, giving us a thumbs up, and subscribing, and also share our videos. It'll definitely help us. All right? So we at SMA News Today hope all of you have had a fantastic day. Do me a favor this upcoming week. Do something for someone else to make their life a little bit better, and also do something for yourself that's going to make you a better person. Until next time, take care of yourself, and I'll talk to you in a couple of weeks. Bye-bye.